Nobody wants to tell the truth.
I'm gonna give you my astrology story, and this is a crazy story, and 100% of it is true. I believe 2003, January 3rd is when I got raided. Right? December 2007, my ex-wife Deb always threw a Christmas party, and I would fund the Christmas party. This is around where money was raining from the sky.
Right.
Life was good. This is before 50. This is before the feds. Anything. Life is wonderful. At her party, she would have a caricature. She would have a jazz band, and she had this little white lady, like 70-something years old, and she was like, tell you your life.
Psychic.
I never had a psychic reading before. So now I go to this, and everyone's like, oh my God, she's so good. She said everything. Irv, you got to go. I'm like, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, if you see death, tell me. You understand? If you, oh shit, you're going to die. And I'm like, so I don't really believe it.
Right.
I think. So they made me sit down with her. I tell her, I made a promise. I said, yo, I'm only doing this. Keep it real. I said, I'm an ill motherfucker. If you see death, I'll evade it. But I want to know. Whatever you see, I want to know. And she looked at me, and she looked spooky as fuck. And she said, okay, if you want to know everything, I'll tell you everything. She said, what's your date of birth? She had a computer. She put my date of birth in there. She sat at that computer for 2 minutes. She said, are you ready? I said, yes. Immediately what got me is she said, you're a leader of men. You're very successful. She named all the things that was happening now. And she don't know Irv Gotti. She didn't know who I was. And she was basically portraying my life, that I'm a successful person. People follow you. You're a leader of men. All these things. Then she said, you know, your son is having problems with you leaving home. When she said that, I was like, holy shit, because that is at a point, if y'all seen Gotti's Way, every time I left the house when me and Deb separated, Sonny would cry.
Right.
And he didn't understand. He was young, and he would cry. So I would always, after that, I would just stay there until he went to sleep, and then I would leave. But the fact that she said that, I'm like, first of all, she doesn't know I have a son. And she says, your son is having problems when you leave. It blew me away, and it made me zone in. Now, after that, she said, you ready for the bad stuff? Now, let me paint the picture. It's 2002. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, Pain is Love.
Yeah.
J-Lo records. It's fucking crazy.
Nothing's bad.
It's fucking crazy, right? Making a ton of money, like ton. She says, are you ready for the bad? I said, yeah. She says, you're about to go through hell. And I said, what are you talking about? Expand. She says, everything that you know to be real is not going to be real. And she said, there's nothing that you could do about it. She said, if you try and say and defend yourself, it's going to fall on deaf ears. No one is going to listen to you. No one is going to believe in you. She said, 30 years ago, the sun crossed the moon. She said some astrology shit, and she said something devastating happened in your life, but you was too young to remember. It's about to happen. And I'm like, wow, I'm on top of the world. And she was like, I could only describe it as hell. You're going to go through what I could only describe as hell. But then she touched on that, and she was like, don't say anything. She made me promise. She said, yo, just be quiet and take it. And said, you know it's not real, but there's nothing you could do. Just sit and take it. This is the advice she gave me. And after that, she said, don't worry, though. You're going to pull through. And then she said, what I see for you, she says, is insane. She said, forget money. She says, money isn't, she said, you're going to make so much money, money's not going to be a thought. Like, you're not going to think about money. That's how much money you're going to make. But she says, what I see is something deeper. She told me I was going to change the world. She said, you're going to change the world, and you're going to change how people think and how people feel. And I just looked at her, and she said, you know, I want to shake your hand. She was like, you're going to be something really brilliant and special. And when she said that, I ran the fuck out of it. Right? Because first she said, you're going to go through hell,
Right.
chill. But then after you come through out of it, she said, you're going to get new partners, and you're going to change the world. And money, she says, anything that you have in your head is going to work. And she just gave me all of this stuff. This was around December 17th. It was like a week before Christmas. January 3rd, so 2 weeks later.
My birthday.
Wow. January 3rd, 2003, I'm sitting in the bed with somebody. Phone starts ringing at 6 a.m. Phone starts ringing at 6 a.m. Yo, the feds is at my crib, my brother. My feds is at my crib. I don't know what's going on. What? Phone, someone's on it. It's Deb. Yeah. Yo, the feds is at the house, yo. They surrounded the house. They're raiding the house. What? My lawyer, Ron Sweeney. Yo, the feds is at the office. They're raiding the office. They're going in and taking all your files. What do you got in there? I said, shit, man, there's guns and weed in that motherfucker. Which they confiscated, right? So I'm like, shit, man. Boom. My accountant. Yo, the feds is at my house. She's crying. She's a white lady. She's crying. Like, what is going on? What's happening? My world turns upside down.
Sheesh.
Then the reemergence of 50 Cent. So if the feds wasn't bad enough, I had to deal with dun 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 dun. Like the hottest rapper in the world is saying "fuck me," going on a world tour that says "fuck Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, and everyone that's about him." I come up to radio. Remember what she said? No one's gonna believe you.
Yes, I remember that. I was thinking.
Real paperwork. I'm like, this is gonna kill this guy. He's calling me a pussy, and he has an order of protection against me and everyone, and press charges. You know, we gave him like $250,000. He sued us, took us to court, sued us. So boom, this is gonna kill him. Niggas seen that shit. Nah, y'all made this shit up. It's a publicity. Fell on deaf ears.
I remember when you said it. You said it like you had the big joker. I remember you was like, "That's Curtis Jackson."
Come on.
It's order of protection from Curtis Jackson. That's 50 Cent, y'all. You like dropped the mic.
Hold on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for 1 second. Shouldn't that have been in the real world the death blow? The guy who's proclaiming to be the roughest, toughest Dondada bully. Nigga, you got beat up and poked up, and you ran to the precinct and pressed charges on us. And the really death blow, you took out an order of protection. That's like shit your baby mother does and shit like that. That's women shit. And you're saying I smell pussy? It's you, nigga. You understand? It ain't us. You smelling yourself, nigga. You understand? So it's like when I released that and I think, I swear to God, I thought of her. And I looked at Rule and I said, strap in, nigga, we on ready for a rough ride, nigga. Because they ain't hearing us. It doesn't matter what we say. They not hearing us. We just got to sit and weather the fucking storm while this nigga is smacking us and spitting in our faces. We have to go like this. Thank you, man, have another.
That's why
Thank you, man, have another.
Is that why it took so long for Blood in My Eye to come out? Like,
well, Rule wanted Blood in My Eye. Rule was he was rambunctious. Mm-hmm. Let's get him. And I was like, they not listening. It doesn't even fucking matter. Clap Back to me was one when I was like, God damn, Storch blessed us. That song was one of the, to me, in my opinion, for in the midst of a battle, like that was a hit record in the midst of a battle. And it did okay, but it should have did way bigger for who Ja was.
It's bigger now than it was back then.
Now they appreciate it. You understand?
It
and
was
they
the video, though. It was Ja with the war painting, the push-ups.
That was dope, though, to me. That was Fight Club, my nigga. And then the thing when he jumped out to the crowd like he's gonna, that shit was dope, nigga. I loved it.
Have you ever ran in the 50? Because I know Ja did on the flight. Have you seen him? Have you ever been in the same spot?
we think you ain't never gonna speak. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna speak.
Two cancers that's
but it's all good. Like how I feel is like he's in his world, he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. Or maybe in his word, I'm not doing my thing. I don't really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Do you, I'm doing me, and we could coexist in the world. I don't want to hurt him. If he wants to hurt me, it's all good. We could dance, nigga. It's like ain't nothing over here, ain't nothing about me from the day one. From day one with that whole thing, if you look at our history and the thing, there ain't nothing about Murder Inc. that's ever fake. You know what I'm saying? And people like to think, because people are fooled easily, like he's the roughest, toughest Dondada. He could be, but we don't care. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? You understand? You want to dance, we can dance, we do whatever at any level. You understand? So it's like I always think back of my little psychic, yo.
You never felt like going to see her again?
You know what? I don't, because it's so scary. It's so scary. And then, you know, when you do that, Angela, you waiting on these things to happen, because she's so, after she did that, I was like, where's my new partners coming? Where's my new partners? When am I going to change the world? You can't do that. You just got to live your life. But it just so happens that what I wanted to do with Tales. Now here's the scary thing, yo. It's sometimes my world is scary because here it is. I made Tales and I'm releasing a project that the first project that my intent is to change how people think and feel. And I didn't do that thinking of her. I just did that because that's what I wanted